9 huge Emmerdale spoilers for next week, the 26th to the 30th of January, shocking returns, buried secrets, and guilt that refuses to stay silent. What's really next for the residents of Emmerdale? Next week promises to be one of the most emotionally charged and storyline-heavy weeks the village has seen in a long time. Long-buried secrets resurface, ghosts of the past walk back into the present, and several characters find themselves standing at moral crossroads they can no longer avoid. At the heart of the drama is Graham, who finally stops hiding and heads to Home Farm to face Kim and Joe after his astonishing return from the dead. Elsewhere, the police investigation into Ray's murder takes a significant, if misguided, turn, while Arthur's ill-judged decision threatens to destroy his friendship with April and deepen his own guilt. Meanwhile, Victoria is haunted by the irreversible consequences of her actions. Ruby receives devastating news, and Rona attempts to guide her fractured family toward healing, even as the scars of the past year remain painfully fresh. Here's a closer look at 9 major moments coming up in Emmerdale next week. And don't forget to check out our full gallery of 13 spoiler pictures from these episodes. 1. Graham finally returns to see Rona. Graham makes an unexpected appearance at the vet's surgery, coming face to face with Rona once again. It's been several weeks since their initial reunion, moments that viewers only recently witnessed through dramatic flashbacks, and the emotional distance between them is immediately apparent. Rona is far from pleased to see him. Hurt and frustrated, she confronts Graham over his sudden disappearance and the weeks of silence that followed. Her repeated attempts to contact him were ignored, leaving her confused and angry, and she demands to know why he vanished yet again without explanation. Graham, clearly carrying more than his fair share of secrets, struggles to justify his absence. Is there a reason compelling enough to explain why he cut off all contact? Or is this another sign that his return to the village will only bring further heartbreak for those who care about him? 2. Joe's arrival sends Graham into hiding. The tension escalates when Rona and Graham's private conversation is abruptly interrupted by Joe, who walks into the vet's surgery completely unaware of the bombshell waiting just out of sight. Panicked, Graham quickly hides, desperate to avoid being seen. Joe, however, senses something is off. Visibly shaken, he admits that he's certain he's just caught a glimpse of his former right-hand man in the village, a man everyone believed to be dead. Rona is forced to think fast. Can she keep her composure and convincingly dismiss Joe's suspicions, or will her reaction give the game away? Once Joe eventually leaves, Graham is stunned to learn that the dynamics at Home Farm have changed dramatically. Joe and Kim, once sworn enemies locked in bitter rivalry, are now a powerful and united front. It's a revelation that makes Graham's eventual confrontation with them feel even more daunting. 3. Graham walks into Home Farm and faces the music. Back at Home Farm, Joe attempts to comfort Kim as she mourns the loss of Ice. In a moment that reveals how differently they process grief, Joe suggests that they could simply replace the horse with another from the same gene pool. Kim is unimpressed and sharply dismissive. Some losses, she insists, cannot be undone. You can't replace the dead, and you certainly can't bring them back to life. It's at this precise moment that Graham makes his dramatic entrance, walking into Home Farm and instantly proving Kim's point spectacularly wrong. The shock is immense. Kim and Joe are left reeling as they try to process the impossible sight of a man they believe to be dead standing right in front of them. Questions flood in. Where has Graham been? Why did he fake his death? And what does he want now? For Graham, this is the moment he's been dreading, but also the moment he knows he can no longer avoid. Point 4. D.S. Walsh shares a crucial update on Ray's murder. Elsewhere in the village, D.S. Walsh provides Paddy with an update on the ongoing investigation into Ray's murder. She reveals that the police are keen to speak to Celia, believing she may hold key information about Ray's death. What Walsh doesn't realize, however, is that Celia herself is already dead, a critical detail that sends the investigation down entirely the wrong path. For now, Walsh appears to be pursuing a false lead, which may offer temporary relief to the real suspects. But how long can the truth remain hidden before the investigation takes a darker, more dangerous turn? 5. Arthur hides a dangerous secret from Laurel. Laurel believes that her relationship with Arthur is finally improving. From her perspective, things seem calmer, more stable, a welcome change after recent turmoil. What she doesn't know is that Arthur is hiding a large envelope stuffed with Ray's cash. April, however, is far more perceptive. She notices Arthur's sudden spending spree and quickly puts the pieces together. Confronting him, she doesn't hold back, delivering a harsh but honest reality check. She points out that the money came from Ray, and that by using it, Arthur is profiting from the suffering her family endured. Her words cut deep, forcing Arthur to confront the moral consequences of his actions and the true cost of his silence. 6. Arthur is consumed by guilt. Arthur is left spiraling after his confrontation with April. Overwhelmed by shame and self-loathing, he finds himself unable to escape the weight of what he's done. Later, he's seen lingering outside Smithy Cottage, clutching the envelope of cash and wrestling with his conscience. Every instinct tells him to do the right thing, to return the money to Ray's victims and make amends, but when the moment comes, Arthur freezes. The guilt is crushing, yet the fear of facing the consequences proves stronger. Once again, he walks away, the secret still firmly in his possession. 7. Victoria struggles under the weight of what she's done. Arthur isn't the only one battling guilt. Victoria is also in a deeply troubled state following John's death in Corriedale, a death she caused. Robert tries to reassure her, insisting that she acted in self-defense and did what she had to do. But his words fail to bring her any comfort. Victoria is haunted by a single, inescapable thought: regardless of the circumstances, she killed someone. She fears that this label will follow her forever, and that no amount of justification will erase the memory or the guilt. Her pain raises a heartbreaking question: can anyone truly move on from something like this, or will it define her for the rest of her life? 8. Ruby receives devastating news. News of the horrors uncovered at Celia's farm spreads, eventually reaching Ruby. The revelation hits her hard. She is left reeling as she realizes that Anya may be dead, just weeks after Ruby tried so desperately to help her and offer some kind of escape from her nightmare. The shock is overwhelming, forcing Ruby to confront the brutal reality that sometimes, even the best intentions aren't enough to save someone from tragedy. 9. Rona urges her family to begin again. With Ray and Celia finally out of the picture, Rona sees an opportunity, not for forgetting, but for healing. She gathers her family and urges them to start a new chapter, arguing that they can't allow the darkness of the past year to define their future. It's time, she insists, to stop living in survival mode and begin truly living again. But not everyone is convinced. The wounds are still raw, the loss is too recent, and the trauma far from resolved. Is Rona asking for hope too soon? Or is this exactly the push her family needs? Emmerdale airs on weeknights at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and is also available to stream on ITVX. For more spoilers, exclusive interviews, behind-the-scenes gossip and fan theories, be sure to visit our dedicated Emmerdale homepage.